Yes, and here we go. It is the football forecast, the post-mortem edition, the season finale here on the ETB Network. You can watch all ETB programming, including this show right now on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/ETB Network. If you are new, please do hit the like button. Also subscribe if you're new and have your notifications set so you know when all of our shows will be coming out. You can follow this show on social media at TFB Forecast ETB, where we also are airing the show live too right now as well. And if you cannot watch any of our podcasts, you can listen to them wherever you do get your favorite podcasts. Well, guys, here we are, the season finale of the forecast, which started back in August with the preview shows. And here we are now through 18 weeks of the regular season, through all the playoffs, through Super Bowl 60. I do want to say first and foremost, guys, it's been another fun year with you all doing this show. Fifth year doing it.
Thank you.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
You know what? I got to tell you, it's only getting better with each passing year. This started, Nick knows, this started as an addition to a show that I did several years back. Then we built it to Football Friday, and then we made it to the football forecast, and it's been fun. But here we are wrapping up the season, and we have a lot to talk about here. Obviously, the big deal is with Super Bowl 60, but we'll get into some offseason stuff as well. But just about a week after the big game, and by the way, folks, we do welcome your comments as well. If you are watching on our YouTube channel, please do leave us a comment, a question. If you have a question or a comment, leave it, and we will read it on the air and answer for you. But it's been about a week now. Dust has finally settled. I know you guys did a remarkable job this weekend with the pregame and postgame stuff, going to the wee hours of the morning. Ben, it's been now a few days. Obviously, I know it's very easy to overreact, and I think there's been a lot of overreaction from really both sides in the past week or so. But, obviously you're a resident fan. A week later now, how do you feel looking back at this game?
Yeah, obviously my emotions definitely a little bit different on the post game. Of course, Tom and some other guys can allude to that. Definitely was more in the moment, but it definitely. I'll say this: there's been a lot of Super Bowl losses that I've been a lot more affected by than this one for some odd reason. Obviously, you guys will all talk about the game, and just in terms of a fan, I just want to say that. What a fun, magical run for this team. Absolute quick turnaround, having 4 wins last year. And then this year, really, I had not a lot of expectations besides just being hopeful for this year with getting a new coach in Mike Vrabel, getting a new quarterback in his first full year in Drake May. And to, granted, of course, the schedule stuff. I feel like if I say this word one more time, I'm going to go plaster drunk. I've just said this way too much. So hopefully that'll be like one time or minimal times I'll say this throughout the show. But regardless of what people want to say, this was a fun run. It's definitely a new foundation now with a good coach, a good quarterback. I know obviously it wasn't the result that we wanted. But definitely, I can hold my head high for sure. And it really, to be frank, the Pats just got beat in all levels. Offense, defense, special teams. Congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks, first of all. I said this a lot. They were the best team, I think, all in the postseason. And I knew for a fact that we were going to be, battled in this game. And, for the Pats, I said this on forecast last week. I said, I felt that if we were going to win the Super Bowl, we were going to have a lot of things kind of go our way, whether it was forcing turnovers, whether it was, offense really clicking, coaching really clicking, and really not a lot of it personally at all. And Seattle really just kind of had everything, offense, defense, special teams. Offense just really struggled. Drake struggled, but offensive line was awful in this game. Seattle really, the Seattle is actually crazy enough. They're one of the least blitzing defenses along the season, but I felt like that the Seattle defense really just had an overall game plan that the Pats, for some odd reason, just never adjusted throughout the game. They never brought in an extra offensive lineman. They never brought in an extra running back to kind of hold the protection. And it just felt like for Drake, he just pretty much was either getting sacked a lot of this game or just running for his life, or just in positions where he wasn't able to feel himself. And it just felt, I think, in this postseason. He definitely wasn't great. I feel for him, but it's his first full year, and I think people got to remember. I mean, look at the Bears with Caleb Williams in his first year. I think a lot of people pretty much are judging him pretty much because of his not great coaching. Drake. Drake obviously had a great regular season, but unfortunately in the postseason he ran into a lot better teams, and now people, of course, want to bring up all this stuff to prove the overall cases. But regardless of the fact, Seattle, they're going to be a fun team for years to come. Vrabel and McDaniels, they obviously didn't have a great Super Bowl, but I do think that they were really good all year, and hopeful that this team definitely could get back at this point in time. Maybe not next year, because the AFC is obviously going to get a lot better with some teams, I think, back on the forefront. But it was great to just be back in this game, and obviously it sucks that we lost, but I do think we're going to get another Super Bowl win down the stretch. It's just a matter of one.
All right. Now let's get to the game itself. Zan, where do you want to start in terms of the game? You want to go?
Yeah,
overall?
sure.
What do you want? How do you take away from this?
I guess I could go overall to start. So, overall, this was, for the most part, a clinic by Seattle. I thought this would be a much closer game than what it was. And I think the defense, for the most part, set the tone kind of early. And, you want to talk about the performance of Kenneth Walker. It was just remarkable. What he's been able to do since Charbonnet had gone down in the weeks prior was extremely, extremely impressive. And it was really his big stage moment. He had a couple of them at Michigan State that I'm sure a lot of people forgot about. So to see him do it at the NFL level and to do it in the biggest game, I think is awesome. And also something to note too, and something that I think New England is pretty regretting, as Seattle was keeping its foot on the gas for much of the game, New England just felt like it was a step behind the whole game. And if they would have tried to match them possession for possession, or even tried to just keep getting chances in the red zone, I think you're looking at a different game. But I think defense made all the difference, and all you really needed was efficiency. And Sam Darnold was certainly that. So that's from an overall standpoint. I want to also mention two other things. Number one, Mike McDonald. I'm sure a couple years ago, none of us would have thought that he would be in this position. And now that he's the third youngest coach to ever win the Super Bowl, I think it speaks volumes about how much of a new generation the NFL is turning into. It's now about these young coaches with these young stars, and Seattle certainly has that. When you look at, its dark side defense. So I think, when you peel back the curtain, this was one of those Super Bowls where defense was dominant. And this was also a Super Bowl where, the team on the losing end in New England, it was more of a learning experience than anything. It's still a very good team. And Mike Vrabel said it best. He goes, he gets in the locker room and he goes, guys, we need to be pissed together, but we also need to remember that we don't want to have this feeling again. And so we need to know what this feeling is like, so we don't replicate it and feel regretful year after year after year. So this was a tale of two totally different teams, and it certainly ended a very unpredictable NFL season. So those are kind of my overall thoughts.
Really quick, to Zen, that I wanted to allude to is, did anybody also see that video, by the way, of Mike Vrabel after the game was over?
Yes.
A little bit, yeah.
Just want to quickly just say, that's just exactly kind of what I'm talking about. Exactly. The team got absolutely outclassed, outplayed, and you see a lot of these players, this young type of team, pretty much kind of going probably with their heads down. They're probably like, man, we just lost the Super Bowl. A lot of these guys only just put in their first Super Bowl, and you see the head coach, who obviously has a lot of experience, pretty much just go to pretty much every single guy and say, listen, 307 days. We were here for a specific reason. We know for a fact that we have a chance to come back at some point during this time. Keep your guys' head up. You guys still had a really fun run. And,
and if they keep most of that team together, they're certainly going to do, which I think was kind of another underlying element that he didn't directly say, but he sort of implied. So I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
All right, Grant, what do you make?
Yeah. First off, I want to say Zan is completely right, but I also want to say to Ben, you are gonna be back in the Super Bowl soon. I don't think it will be next year, but there isn't a big difference between Mike Vrabel and Bill Belichick. The only difference is Vrabel kind of embodies the modern era of football. Belichick doesn't. So you will be back. It just probably won't be next year. But going into this game, this was just a defensive clinic by Seattle. And that's what they had to do to win this game because the Patriots have a star power offense. It's just, they didn't have a opponent that could necessarily shut it down until this game. And I mean, I'm going to say this. I applaud the Patriots for even scoring 14 or 13 points because, I mean, Seattle wasn't letting them have anything. I mean,
No,
I think how many passes did Drake May complete out of his 20 passes? Like 40%, something like that.
It was under 50. I think he was like 21 of 43.
He was 27 of 43.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Wow.
Which I think is telling 43. Pat, I think that's telling, by the way, also because there were only 2 games during the regular season that he threw more than 40 times in a game.
right.
And Drake May, did have a record broken. And the record was most pass yards in a quarter, but that was because at that point the Seahawks were playing prevent defense. So I mean, good for Drake May to get that record, but should it really count? I don't think so. I'm sorry, but
It does.
no, I understand that it does. It's just, is he really getting it? Is my point.
Okay. I mean, the throw he made to what was the one touchdown? It was to Hollins.
he had 2. I mean,
That was a good throw. That was a
That
good
was a
throw.
heck of
Really
a
good.
throw. That was an amazing throw. That he
that
had.
That was
was-
a great throw.
well, he had the one. He had the one before the pass that was to Hollins, and then he had the long one to Hollins, and then the following drive that he had an 8-yard pass to Kyle Williams, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm not falling for this bait. I'm not falling for this bait. But if some way, somehow, because it was still a 19-7, 6 type of game.
19-7, yeah.
Technically speaking, I'll say this: I felt my doubts when it was 9-0. I was sitting on the halftime show, basically saying this halftime show just has to stop. I'm already tortured already as is. Move on from this halftime show
Oh,
and just see if our second half can be any worse.
Right.
And the interception, talk about seeing ghosts. I mean, I feel like Drake maybe even seeing a little bit of ghosts, because he saw Sam Darnold on the other side, and maybe Sam brought it to him. I don't know, but
That's kind of funny. I'll admit. That's kind of funny.
But yeah, the interception. The other thing too, if you guys saw the mic'd up in the Super Bowl yet, Seattle had a lot of basically saying like they were pretty much on top of everything that we were running.
Yeah.
And I just think that I know Nick was of course talking with Drake May. Like his timing mechanism just was a little bit too late. And against a defense like that, you had to just be on target. And he'll learn that. He's only 22 years old, and that's what really frustrates me from other fan bases. They're like, "Whoa, you're gonna just automatically learn something like that?" For specifically a defense just bull rushing him left and right with an offensive line was absolutely putrid. I mean, come on, give me a break.
Yeah, Ben, and that's the thing I want to bring up is the overreaction that we've been seeing from either your own fan base or other teams' fan bases regarding this is unbelievable. It really is. And I even would take the overreaction, or not even the overreaction, but the reaction from some people in the media about Sam Darnold. I mean, the guy's was he great in the game? No, he wasn't. And that was the saving grace that the Patriots had was their defense actually did keep him in this game. I know it felt like it was 90-0 when it was 9-0 at the half, but to limit them to field goals because Darnold was not really completing passes in the first half, and it was really more Kenneth Walker than anybody else that saved him. And that
Christian Gonzalez too. Christian Gonzalez made some crazy nice plays.
Absolutely,
he had the deflection that Darnold actually put on right in the money to Shaheed, and if Gonzo's not there to deflect that, that's at least a long.
That was the deep ball, right?
I think it was. Yes.
And then the one that we had pretty much right on the sack. We didn't sack him. I think we only had one sack, and that was by Milt. But there was one time that he kind of got around the sack, and he overthrew JSN. And I'm looking at the TV, and I'm like, oh, my God, we got so lucky because he was wide open.
Ben,
I remember that one, too.
Chris Collinsworth said on the broadcast that where would the Patriots be without Christian Gonzalez on Sunday? He was the best. He was their best player on the field.
Facts.
Yeah, now
Facts. He was great.
Absolutely.
And it showed. Yeah. So I have a lot to take away from this. Number one, first off, the game starting in broad daylight was a different feeling. It was actually daylight.
It really
It was cool though. It was
I was
cool.
trying to think if we had any Super Bowls, at least my 12 Super Bowls I've seen in daylight.
Well, you have to remember, though, a lot of these games are either going to be on the East Coast or they're going to be inside of domes or retractable roofs. So we're not going to see that daylight. So
Yeah.
next year the game's at SoFi Stadium, so that's an indoor thing too. So you won't see it from in the actual game. But I thought that was different and a cool feeling too. Yeah. But yeah, I think you guys have said it. This was an absolute masterclass by the Seahawks. And you know what? As the season had gone on, we had started to see that the Seahawks were a real complete team. A lot of the times when we look at this, we're looking at teams that get into the Super Bowl. And Ben, a lot of people are knocking the Patriots for their 13 win season because they played a very favorable schedule. But at the same time, how many times have we had the big game and we've seen teams that have gotten in that don't have the best record, but they just get hot at the right time?
Right. Exactly.
So I think that knock is ridiculous. Look, you can only play who you have on your schedule, and against the tough opponents that the Patriots did have, they actually played quite well in all of them. So
I was going to say this too, to be frank, is it's ironic. If people want to jam on our schedule, how many teams do you feel like could have beaten that Seattle team head to head in that Super Bowl, given the way that they pretty much were playing all postseason?
The way they were playing.
I saw a ton of Bronco fans on social media saying, well, see, you guys beat us by 3. We probably would have beaten you with Bo Nix. I'm like, you're telling me that against that defense?
First of all, that's a fallacy of a predetermined outcome, by the way, number one. You can't assume one thing is going to happen when you have no idea. First of all, the NFL is more unpredictable than any other sport that we watch when it comes to outcomes, injuries, in one game formats. Anything can happen. It's not like in baseball or the NBA or the NHL where you play series and you're going to feel it out and you might lose a game here, but you might win a game 5 or a game 6 down the line in a series where you could say, oh, I can afford to lose a game. There's no affording to lose games.
Yeah, this is not a league where we play 162 games. This is not baseball. This is football.
That's why in football every game feels like life or death.
Exactly. And by the way, I call it the Drake May slander that you see on social media.
That's what now people are calling it.
And by the way, I'm just going to pat myself on the back, Jet fan, just so people don't get me confused. But at the same time, Drake May's 22. Like you said, it's impressive that he made it to a Super Bowl at 22 years old. Now, were there some situations in the playoffs that might have made it easier? Yes. But at the same time, you still have to execute to get through these games and to get to those proper outcomes that you want. You don't get to a Super Bowl by accident.
He ran to clinch the AFC Championship game. If people, of course, just want to look at that, by the way, and just remember.
And by the way, like, I'm tired of hearing this whole nonsense with the snow game against Denver. Both sides were under the same duress of that snowstorm.
Thank you.
Okay,
they were.
So it doesn't matter if one side played like this and one side. Both sides were basically not even willing to punt the football in the snow. That's how bad it was.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the new school people that don't want weather to be a factor in these games, which is annoying. And even some of the old school people are saying that too. But then I'm like, if you're going to do that, then you're going to have every stadium then with a retractable roof or a dome. You know why a lot of these new stadiums that are being built are having retractable roofs and domes? It's not because of the element. It's why they're doing that.
Well, they won Super Bowl.
They want to host
They won Super Bowls, and
that's the exact reason why they're building these things.
Why do you think
Super Bowls and other major events like WrestleMania and massive concerts?
I think you're point too, Christy. You're right. It's more than just that, but
I think the reason Cleveland is doing it is because they want to host a Super Bowl, and eventually they want to host March Madness down the line.
So the Titans are doing that as well.
So I think people are overreacting. And I sent Ben a clip the other night from the Sports Hub in Boston, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
Where they were just like the overreaction going on down there in Boston. My favorite thing to do after every Super Bowl, by the way, is to listen to local, whichever team loses.
Mhm.
I go and I listen to the feeds.
Oh yeah. Well, trust me, Boston is like the peak when it comes to if we lose. Trust me.
I was listening to Sirius because I listen to a lot of national radio, and someone called into DA's show in the morning.
I know where he's going.
And all of a sudden, a guy calls in and says, well, we should get rid of Drake May and all this stuff. And I'm like, it's a day after the Super Bowl.
So come on, it's not the end of the world.
Who played with a what ended up being the injury? It was
He had to get a cortisone in his shoulder.
Shoulder injury.
Yeah, shoulder, and he had something else.
which clearly affected him in the game. I mean,
wait a minute.
That's what happened. I'm sorry.
To add to that, he had the flu at the beginning of the week.
Oh goddamn!
Yeah.
It was kind of,
I didn't know that.
I think about that though, because he was wearing short sleeves in the AFC Championship, and I'm like, Drake, why are you doing this to me?
It's like, my God, dude, do you want to end up getting pneumonia or something?
Well, it was like 60-something degrees in Santa
And then
Clara.
it-
Game.
I'm
I'm talking
good
about
weather.
For the AFC Championship.
Oh, the
Denver.
snow game.
Yeah,
And
wearing
Will Campbell.
short sleeves.
But I do want to say one thing also, because we're talking a lot about Drake May.
Mm-hmm.
I think Johnny's right that we're overreacting now that
Yes.
Sam Darnold won a Super Bowl, and now everyone's saying, oh, well, we have to elevate him up into the top 10. And I'm like, he's not a top 10 quarterback.
Hold on a second. That's my thing too, and that's what I wanted to finish up at. There's overreaction on both sides, and there's also reaction that's kind of bothering me too, and that's on these national shows that talk about like how many quarterbacks do we take above Sam Darnold. I'm like, the guy just won a Super Bowl, became only the second quarterback in NFL history, and the only one to do this with two different teams to win 14 games in consecutive years. And the conversation we're having on shows like First Take and stuff for how many quarterbacks we take above Sam Darnold. Can the guy celebrate his damn Super Bowl win first before we put the
I'm with you. First of all, you knew First Take was going to do that anyway.
I have to tell you, I love Shea Cornett, but she's in an unwinnable situation on that show when it comes to during football season. It's hard. It's a hard watch.
They were debating whether he should be above now Lamar and Josh Allen and
the guy. Wait a second. Wait, Sam Darnold just won a Super Bowl, and what did he play perfect in the game? No, but you know what he did not do though? He did not make a mistake. He did not turn the ball over, and you know what? He had very favorable running game. He was close. Good offensive line, and you know what? You need a favorable system. Look, Sam Darnold is a system quarterback, but you know what though? Those kind of quarterbacks can win.
You know what it is also? Drake May got sacked 6 times, and that goes back to what I was talking to Ben about a couple days ago. The internal clock was not as fast in that game. I noticed it. Like, he was going 1 option, 2 option, 3 option, and then the pocket collapsed, and then he was getting sacked.
Yeah.
And that was the problem, that he was waiting too long, which gave Seattle the time to collapse the pocket.
Right.
I saw a couple of things with film on Drake afterward. I'm like, yeah, he probably could have had a little more quicker. But if you guys didn't see this, Will Campbell, and I hate to put like all the blame on him.
Yeah.
Will Campbell was pressured on 16 pressures from
17.
Seattle. 17 pressures.
And he had a knee issue or something.
Yes.
He did.
Yeah.
And also,
which I have to say, that is very, very like risky, but also like very honorable for him for a guy like him, because he's a rookie. You know, you don't want to have a gruesome knee injury your first year of your NFL career, but he wanted to be there.
It's the Super Bowl, man. Like, that's what it is.
It's too important.
I do put blame on our coaching staff though. Like, after a couple drives, it just got bad enough where I'm like, you have nothing to lose. Like, try to either put an extra lineman on his left-hand side or just take him out maybe for a drive, because he just the Seattle basically was just pretty much pressuring. I mean, everybody was bad. I mean, even like Moses on the right-hand side, but that left-hand side, basically the whole entire playoffs was just getting killed. And
the one thing I want to say also is, like, Seattle's defense was amazing this entire game.
Good.
It
The
was
dark
fun.
side.
There's one play that made no sense to me, and it was the pass downfield that he threw the interception on.
That
I
was
don't know.
bad.
I don't know
was
where
bad.
that ball was in no man's land. I don't know where that ball was going to. But
I think
Did he get
was,
hit on that play?
no,
No, it was.
I think he
one
was
of
just
those where-
rushed. I think he was rushed. But
Yeah,
I think
well,
he was trying to moreover, just try to get his team back in the game.
yeah, but that throw was not there though.
But it was movement without truly thinking. Now I say that when it's like,
Right.
there you need very quick reaction
I think-
time, especially against a defense like that. But still,
I think one thing that Drake has to focus on, of course, as a 22-year-old, is he's gonna have to, and this is something that Josh Allen really had a lot of problems with when he was younger, is to take the checkdowns. And because Drake definitely, for a fact, has the arm talent, but what did these defense do against Drake in the last 3 games in the postseason? They said, we're not going to eliminate your best traits, your legs and your arm strength. And basically, he, the line really just did not pull for him, and so it was just completely just all mental with him. And
Yeah, but-
it sucks. He ran into just a buzzsaw team.
I would say though that Drake May is way better at this age at Josh Allen than actually escaping the pocket than Josh Allen was.
Yeah.
Because at least Drake was trying to escape the pocket when the pocket collapsed. Now, he went backwards. Now, Kenneth Walker definitely deserved the MVP.
Yes.
Okay. But how are we not talking about Jason Myers making 5 field goals?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
And I was going to say that, that's the one thing also is that this was a clinic in all 3 areas of the game by the Seahawks. It was offense, defense, and special teams. The offense, especially with Walker. And Walker's numbers were outstanding. Look, Jason Myers was perfect. I mean, I think, what did he have? Did he have the most points for?
Yeah, he held the
15
record.
points. Yeah.
Yeah, but we've never had a kicker win the MVP of the game. That's what you were debating?
No,
I know I was watching.
Let's be honest. That would have been emblematic of how crazy and unpredictable this NFL season has been.
But I'm
Yes.
saying
Well
he's
said.
the reason. But he's the reason why they had the cushion in the game.
Well, Walker's
Right.
the thing is though, Walker did set him up, and Walker's numbers for a running back. I mean, he had 160 yards. I mean, that's
In
hard.
one
That's
game,
hard to
yeah.
go against.
yeah.
Yeah, that's hard to go against. I mean, now
Yes.
the interesting thing with that, Nick, would have been is if both running backs were healthy. If Charbonnet was there,
He wouldn't
and
have won.
If they split
No.
the touches like they have been doing most of the season,
Then I think you'd
then I
have
think
to
you
do
have a
this.
legitimate case for Myers. But
Right.
But I hate the kicker stereotype, though. That is the most ridiculous thing ever.
One thing I will
Yeah, it
say,
is.
I don't think though it's a knock though on Myers that he didn't win the award. I think Walker had that great of a game. Remember, he almost had 2 touchdowns, but one of them was called back on a holding
back,
call.
yeah.
Right.
That was a questionable call.
Well,
That
and
was.
Grant, let's just say this though, and that's one of the things I want to get. I know I got to get Christy and everybody else involved.
No.
The officiating in this game was they let him play. We didn't have any
Yes,
talk
they
about
did.
the officials. I think there were like 4 flags the entire game.
Which I appreciate because
and
Which
most
I
of
was
them were-
happy about.
Most of them were in the 4th quarter, though. Those flags.
Right.
Yeah, that hold was kind of quite. there was enough of a hold, but I think it was just because we hadn't seen penalties. They hadn't thrown many flags the entire night. And but the officiating, though, I give Sean Smith's crew a lot of credit though, because they did not make it about themselves. They didn't. Not everything was called. They let them play, and so
the game felt like it went quicker too, but there was a lot of running.
a lot of running.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it did. The
was.
first half
I was
only
like,
took like an
wow.
hour and a half. It was kind
A lot
of
of
nuts.
running and
Surprising.
a lot of running and a lot of punting. It was puntamania.
Well, hey, speaking
Yes.
of puntamania, you want to bet on punts that was supposed to be for the entire game in the first
Yeah,
half.
but I
Oh
didn't
my
expect
God.
I didn't expect by halftime we'd already have 8 punts in the game.
I
What
saw
was
Tom's
What was
tweet, and
the
I
punt
wanted to
number
find
you
it.
had, Tom? The over under on it.
So
7.5,
over under the over under was 7.5. Johnny, the 8th punt came right before halftime.
I would have taken
Crazy.
that. Yeah, because I
Insanity.
didn't think there were going to be a lot of points scored. This actually kind of was where I thought this game was going to be. I thought defense was going to play a big role, which they did, because even the Patriots limited the Seahawks to field goals, which looked very, very critical. But the biggest mismatch, and this was my biggest fear with the Patriots, was that left side of the line. And the Seahawks exposed that. And then you saw Love with the interception. Like you said, Ben, I think May was trying to get it all back there. They had the momentum at that point off the touchdown.
Yeah, you didn't have to on that point.
But it also felt like that
throw.
throw, that felt like the shoulder was definitely played a role in the
Right.
stuff.
Well,
I think,
I was trying to figure out, because they were obviously doing the area view of the interception. There were a couple of guys. I mean, Kyle Williams, I think, was trying to hit a deep poster and something else, but like it was just in double coverage. Like I just didn't understand specifically. Like you didn't have to do that. And the one thing about Drake, what he reminds me of is he reminds me of a point guard or a shooting guard in basketball. I hate to obviously to translate sports, but sometimes with him, it just takes him just a little bit to kind of just get himself in rhythm. And at that point in time, where hit the long pass to Matt Collins, I'm like, all right, that's the Drake that I've been seeing a lot of the regular season. And then just the postseason has just been so much more of like a, oh man, like, you know, take that sack or just eliminate that. It was never kind of like all put together, unfortunately. And that was partly because of a lot of things. That interception obviously was more on him, a couple of sacks, you know, offensive linemen. It just was never kind of all put together like I was seeing in the regular season.
and just like in the NBA, when that player is on fire, and May was starting to build.
He was having a heat check.
He tried to take a 40-foot 3-pointer. That's what it.
Well, in the fourth quarter, he finally decided to wake up and read the defenses. But
Yeah, no, the second half, I actually, I mean, granted, some of it was garbage time, but I thought he found it a little bit too late. That's what I pretty much will say at that point.
That's why I felt like they still had a chance, even though it was 12-0. Even though it felt like it was 120-0. I mean, the fact they were only down 2 scores when he gets that touchdown, and we're watching that in real time, and we're like, all right, now he is kind of get a stop on defense,
and we got the stop
back right away. Yeah.
By the way, also because you were talking about numbers and all that stuff, Drake May had 95 more yards than Sam Darnold, but Sam Darnold was more efficient with his passes.
The key with Darnold was, and remember, JSN went out of this game twice with 2 different injuries, the concussion and the foot injury. Yeah. So it was more of Cooper Kupp and Austin Barner on the receiving side, and then obviously Kenneth Walker on the running side.
I was wrong on Barner.
The key again was that Darnold did not turn the ball over, because if Darnold would have had a turnover, maybe this game differs a little bit.
Well,
maybe
the first drive, he legitimately was. Marcus Jones was this close to getting the pick 6, and who knows what happens. People in the media this week are saying so much about that.
There's so many wild things being said in the media about this game. Put the halftime show aside. I'm not even talking about that.
No, we won't even get to that in this show today.
Thank God.
But I'm just talking about, like, May was this, Darnold was this, like the defenses were this. Now, I will say for the first half, the defenses were on display in a major way. Both sides. When you have a 9-0 game, which is an odd score going into the half,
it's a very good. It's a very good offense you're facing.
Yeah, it is.
That offense was clicking a lot in the postseason.
But for the first half, I would say both defenses were on it. It's just that the Seahawks, and I said this is why I think Jason Myers deserves a little more credit for being a valuable player in this game, because if it's not for him, maybe the Patriots have a chance in the fourth quarter. It's only 14-13 or whatever it is. And by the way, there would have been a spread cover there by the Patriots.
I think another thing that we did not talk about, which I think was a massive part, was the punter for the Seahawks. Absolutely, because you take a look at Super Bowls, everything in terms of when you have a Super Bowl winning team, whether it's coaching, whether it's offense, defense, special teams always seem to have a massive factor as well. And the punter, I mean, somebody said it right. I was listening to some Seahawks podcast or some type of podcast after the game. It pretty much was like, if you ever see, like, play the game Madden and you have like one of those like kicking challenges, like a punting challenges, and you have like the targets pretty much like, oh, punt it inside the 20-yard line. And he basically like had like all the targets basically hit. Everything was pretty much inside. And for a Patriots offense that really was just struggling a lot, pretty much for long possessions and long fields, it was just like pretty much everything pretty much was played into Seattle's hands. And we just couldn't have bad field position or anything like that. And he was incredible. He really was.
I mean,
it was a masterclass. Yep.
The 2 punts, the ones out the left side of the field, I think he hit one at like the 3 and one at like the 5. I think. Which
there's a couple times I thought we were going to get safety. I'm not going to lie, because there's so many times where it's like.
What about the one where the Patriots rushed and he had to kick it on the clear run, and he still hit it at like the 5-yard line, which that was like a shock punt. Like, he didn't even have time to get that ball out, but somehow he did.
Tom, we know
I had no idea about this guy, but man, I guess Australians know how to punt. Because that
Tom, you remember Jeff Eagles?
Yeah, I think they do.
Tom, nobody. I don't know anybody other than anybody more than Jeff Eagles that could pin one inside down one inside the 5. Back good old days. All right, let me get Christy, Nick, and you involved, and then we'll transition here. Go ahead, Christy.
I was going to say one of the I mean, yeah, Drake May didn't look good. His throws were not as crisp as they usually are. Sam Darnold was a game manager. I'm going to give the Patriots credit, a lot of defense. I don't know if they watched our pre-Super Bowl show or something like that. I wanted Jackson Smith and Jigba to be MVP. The Patriots defense clamped down on him. So credit to them, but Kenneth Walker stepped up, and this was nuts.
Nick, I wouldn't say this was a boring one because I had some people saying that this was a boring Super Bowl. I think this was, you know what the problem is? People don't remember, or even the young people don't know what a good defensive football game is.
The Bears, 1985.
See, people, this is not just football. This is all sport. People want offense. That's why you see like all the leagues get behind and promote their stars when they score. And Tom's going to get this reference when I make it. But how many times did I have to be sour over the NBA promoting LeBron James for the amount of points being scored?
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Oh, look, he broke 50,000 points. He's the all-time leading scorer. I mean, the same thing.
That's why you have the NBA All-Star games look like what they look like.
Yeah,
that's
insanity.
Well, I'm not even going to go there.
153
Wrong sport.
147.
Wrong sport. But
wrong sport, but very relevant since it's coming up this weekend.
No, that's true.
Yes.
Look at the numbers with Matthew Stafford. 46 touchdowns. That was the big number everybody looked at. 46 touchdowns and I think 7 interceptions. But
there and there.
We're only satisfied as well, except for us because we pay attention to the league and we know what a defensive game and an offensive game is.
Yes.
The average football fan, unless they see touchdowns, they don't care. They don't care that in the first half, there were double digits weren't scored in the first half of the Super Bowl. What the hell is this game that we're watching right now?
Click.
So, you know what? I happen to like, and usually Tom knows I'm usually not a defensive type guy for a game. I actually liked the way this game was going. I actually liked that there was some competitive fire going into the second half. Because we've had Super Bowls before where we head into the second half and it's a complete blowout and we're like, why are we watching this?
Last year.
Yeah, 59.
Yeah, 59.
These were done at halftime.
I was like, is this a nightmare or is it just me?
Or how about the last time the Seahawks won the Super Bowl when they scored a safety on the Broncos?
I couldn't finish watching the rest of it by the time Golden Tate got his kickoff return for a touchdown.
Same idea, Greg.
Yeah, defensive battles are good games. I mean,
they are.
If you're just gonna have 40-0 games, like what's the point of watching? Like,
I thought this was funny. There was a small subset of college football Twitter that was loving the Super Bowl. People were tweeting that the first half was the equivalent of a Big Ten West football game.
Yes, exactly, Zan. Exactly.
Yes.
It was awesome. It was absolutely awesome.
All right. You have anything else to add, Nick, or should I get Tom in real quick?
No, go ahead. I mean, for the most part, I thought the game was good, actually, because it actually stayed close. For the most part. For a Super Bowl standard, it stayed close.
All right, Tom?
I mean, here's the thing. We expected that this was going to be a defensive battle. If there's one thing that stood out with the Patriots and the Seahawks in this postseason and even stretching into the regular season, it was the defenses on both sides. And you're talking about boring Super Bowls. I mean, we are about 7 years removed from probably the most boring Super Bowl with the Patriots and the Rams. I know that was a Super Bowl title for the event, but that was still a terrible game.
See, I don't agree with that.
I love the boring.
I don't agree with you.
That was a defensive clinic. That's
Belichick.
That was a defensive clinic on both sides. That was good defensive football. Again, see, people don't remember what a great defensive game is, or just are too young to realize that.
Yeah, I much preferred this one just because of how good that these two sides were. And like you guys are saying, this isn't even anything anti-Drake May. This isn't anything anti-Patriot because Seattle just played the perfect football game. Perfect in every single capacity. Really they had a strong runner, which I think helps with Kenneth Walker's MVP story. And if you saw the NBC broadcast, they were pretty much talking about how the minute Charbonnet went down the divisional round, Kenneth Walker said, "I'm playing for both of us," and just played with an absolute chip on his shoulder in the championship game and the
He
Super Bowl.
was a stud.
Yep.
And it's not, that's not to say that he hasn't been a stud in this whole freaking season. If it wasn't for Bijan Robinson, you'd probably have Kenneth Walker
Right.
within that same kind of conversation, that same kind of breath, and the fact that he's a 1-2 punch with Charbonnet. And I've talked about on the post game show, how great it is for a team to have a 1-2 punch at a running back. You think of the Saints 10 years ago with Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram. You think of Sonic and Knuckles just recently in Detroit, even though that relationship seems to be kind of souring. And now you have here Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. And it's just I'm happy for Charbonnet, but it just stinks. It's got to sting a little bit to not be able to play in this kind of game. And as much as the Pats defense shut down JSN and he was dealing with those injuries, I think Cooper Kupp did an amazing job in stepping up, trying to look back to that 2022 form. Sam Darnold, classic game manager style. Even the defense just consistently, did the Pats O-line play great? No, but I think Seattle just has a really, really tough lines. Really tough lines. And that's something that we have seen. Those are things that we have seen and pointed to why certain teams fall. It's that their offensive line struggles or defensive line struggles. And Seattle just had perfect play on those lines. And then, of course, Jason Myers, one of my favorite parts of the Super Bowl, all the kicks that he was doing, and the fact that he put up 15 points for his team. He pretty much outscored all of his teammates in this game. It was kind of fantastic.
For sure. He's going to have a very nice, relaxed offseason. That's
we
for sure.
lost by 2, so tell me.
The Pats are going to be back. Though, like Grant said, and it kind of alluded to, we talked about it on Sunday night, Ben, Nick, about the Pats' schedule next year. Going to be really tough, having to play the AFC West and the NFC North.
I'm kind of ready for it, though. See how they do.
You need a receiver. You need a receiver in the worst way.
Yes,
as much as I like
do.
Mac and the way that he played in this game, this game showed to me that, I feel like the one piece that's going to help put the Pats over the hump, is a star receiver.
Yes.
Number one.
Stephon Diggs is not it.
I still think like a Debo would really be a good fit in New England, but we could save that for later on.
Yeah, we'll get into that. All right, one other area we'll touch on in this game, and then we'll transition to the offseason, are obviously the commercials. I'll be honest with you, I mean, there's so many that were great. This is why it's night and day when you talk about last year's game to this one, because last year, I think everything about last year was awful. The game was as boring. You want to talk about a boring game. I mean, that game was out of reach in the first half of the first quarter. The commercials were all bad. The halftime show was not great. There was a bunch. This, to me, I mean, from the first commercial on, from the State Farm commercial on, I couldn't find one that I didn't like. I thought the Dunkin' one was great. What was it? Goodwill Dunkin'.
That had all the celebrities in it.
Yeah, with all the celebrities. Not gonna lie, the Budweiser one, I got a little teary-eyed over it.
Yeah.
I got a little teary-eyed over it. I thought that was amazing.
Awesome.
Well, the Freebird commercial also. Which one was that? Was that the Clydesdales one, or was that another one?
It was a different one.
I think that was a different one. But I mean, State Farm. But I mean, I love State Farm from the start.
Oh, the polar bear.
The polar bear.
The polar bear was funny.
No, that was cool.
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, no. Now let me just clarify something, because people came up to me at work on Monday and they said, "What did you think of it?" So I am a Coca-Cola merchandiser, but I work for a parent company. I don't work for the actual Coca-Cola company, so that doesn't affect that thing.
Okay.
So I work for this company called Coca-Cola Consolidated, which actually has more employees than the actual company itself does. So yeah, I don't work on the advertising bit or commercials or whatnot.
But it was funny, though, that Pepsi made it look like they stole the polar bear from
listen, I will tell you this. From a commercial aspect, I actually thought it was a very, very smart commercial.
It was
a commercial. But I was just like, oh, man, that's harsh. That was cool. But it was good, though. It was.
And then the karaoke commercial, which was kind of awkward also.
Jeez.
And the AI one was, I mean,
Which one? Because there were multiple of them.
There was,
Right.
and and I think there was a Google Gemini one. So I mean, there was quite.
I think I saw that one.
It's a sign of the times. I remember. I think it was back when the Rams and the Bengals played in Super Bowl 56 that we had the QR code commercial because it was starting up too. So it was really it was a sign of the times kind of commercial. So it made the most sense. But
Johnny, what it felt like to me though. Sorry, John, but what it felt like to me though, you got this fear amongst people just. Talking something non-sport about the AI bubble potentially bursting. And what I was thinking was from to the 2000 Super Bowl when we had the .com bubble.
Yes.
And you saw all those websites with Super Bowl ads.
Well, okay. So I was just reminded of a few others. So Sabrina Carpenter and the Pringles commercial was.
Yeah.
Pringles are usually pretty good. So.
And by the way, the Backstreet Boys got like multiple cameos in commercials.
Mm-hmm.
And now they want to do the halftime show, but I think that's another subject.
I'm in.
No, I wouldn't be against that.
Because I want it that way.
Well, I see what you did there, Christy. Well done. But yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about, if you want to also talk about performances, Green Day's pregame was
loved it.
The national anthem was outstanding.
Oh, beautiful.
I cannot believe
it hit the under.
Way under.
It was under 2 minutes, and I'm like, good job, Charlie.
Everyone moved it because they said Charlie Puth holds his notes, and he didn't hold notes.
He didn't hold as many as I thought he would.
I'm trying to look it up.
You know what?
Yeah,
I bet that Puth saw all the criticism on Twitter, and he's like, you know what? I won't do it this time.
So
tone it down a bit.
Wait a minute. So the opening over-under bet was 119.5 to 120.5 seconds. So what is that? It's 2 minutes?
2 minutes.
Yeah.
So 159 to the 159 to 2 minute mark.
So when I did it, because I posted it, when I did it, I think it was like a minute 53 or a minute 54.
Right.
It was officially 153, yeah.
I was going to say, didn't Callan time it at a minute 51?
See, I don't know where the exact, because the music technically starts before they say a word.
I think it's from O to Brave.
Okay.
Yeah, it's words, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
That's where
I got like a minute 53 and a half. That's where I kind of settled. By the way, a lot of people probably lost money on that. Just saying.
I lost it on that, but I made it up. I made up for it by getting heads.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you did get it right?
I did. It was heads, yeah.
Oh, another thing too. My superstition came true, by the way, about the Patriots Super Bowls. They lost the coin toss, right? They lost the Super Bowl.
Oh.
And the only Super Bowl commercials.
Was it the coin toss, or was it that was heads, or what side the coin landed on?
Well, no, they won the coin toss, and whenever time we play in the Super Bowl that we've lost Super Bowls, we've lost the coin toss.
Okay, that's it.
By the way,
I was going to say, how many movie trailers did you guys notice while the commercials are all playing and everything?
I think even if we won the coin toss, it probably wouldn't have mattered.
It wouldn't have mattered.
Right? No.
But movie trailers, see, I'm not a movie guy, so but there were a few of them, right?
Yeah, I think Mandalorian and Grogu movie, that's the one I'm most looking forward to that aired during the Super Bowl.
What did you guys think of the thank you coaches commercial promoting youth football? That was cool.
saw that.
All right, great.
That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think
I don't think I can remember. See, it's funny because every year it seems like we can remember the ones we don't like, but I don't remember one I sat there and said, yeah, this doesn't work for me.
You know which one I thought was awkward was Andy Cohen with Nerds. I thought that
was weird. I'll give you that one. Yeah,
that was way too weird.
But it was a one that I sat there and
what?
I don't like this. No,
but just for the sake. By the way, I found out this year that for 30 seconds they charged it was the highest rate in the history of Super Bowl.
Oh God!
It was between 8 million and 10 million for 30 seconds.
Wow!
That's probably to do with respect to inflation.
But Goodwill Duncan, I have the list of celebrities. This is insane. Ben Affleck, Jason Alexander, Jennifer Aniston, Matt LeBlanc, Jaleel White, Alfonso Ribeiro, Jasmine Guy, Ted Danson. By the way, Ted Danson one was kind of fun at the end of that. Like,
he's great.
But I want to know what the price tag on that commercial is.
It's probably a lot of money.
Was that a 60-second one, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, I think so. They would have had to pay somewhere between
at least double
16 and 20 million.
Oh,
for a 1 minute commercial. I mean,
Jeez.
you could go on and on and on. There was so they had a Super Bowl commercial. I mean, excuse me, Olympic commercial for during the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And also, real quick, also speaking of that, how about a job? What about the job that Tirico did? It goes from calling the Super Bowl 60, and then right after the game, he's out on the field and he's transitioning into Olympic coverage, and then he flies out to Milan the next day.
Yeah.
Well, he did the
That
coverage
guy is
on.
that
Go
guy's
ahead.
crazy, but I love it.
He did
I mean,
the
I
coverage
told
on the field right after the game.
Well, I mean, it's not often that you have this kind of transition because with
No,
years
it's not.
between. So,
It's every 4 years.
But a
Not
great
bad,
job by NBC from start to finish on Sunday. And as I said, now I remember this Super Bowl. It's not up there, but it won't be in the list that I say, oh, I couldn't stand this one. I thought it was well done all the way around. And so we put a capper on this. I'm sorry, Nick, you want to say one more thing?
I just want to say one more thing. This one made me laugh too. William Shatner for Kellogg's.
Yes.
But,
Yeah, to boldly go
And
where
then-
no one has gone
and by the
before.
way, does it look like he hasn't aged in that commercial whatsoever?
He
doesn't look-
really
no.
hasn't. No,
It's amazing.
He's still going strong. Love you, Bill. All right. Let's transition. Talk about the off. So we'll get into the off season here. Let's get into the off season. So a couple of dates that we need to talk about right out of the gate. So on the 17th. So that'll be early next week.
Was that
First
franchise
day to
pick?
designate that'll be the first day to designate franchise transition tags. And then we also have the scouting combine in Indianapolis happening starting on the 23rd, and that'll run through March 2nd. And look, the scouting combine, that's how some of these guys can either raise their stock or drop it. And of course, the most recent I can remember that really raised their stock because of the combine was Anthony Richardson. And look where that has led.
Yeah.
But guys' stock stocks rise and fall based on the combine.
It's true. Because every single GM and every single coach is right there, and all the scouts are right there, and everything.
Zan, I think you'll agree with me on this. I think the combine, not this year, but in 2027, might be one for the ages when we look at all the talent that's going to be coming out next year.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's a good one, and I'm hoping that next year's combine is the first combine I end up going to with media. So that's an early goal that I've already set for myself, and I think the combines from here on out, not this one, but starting next year and the years after, are going to be very interesting. So
the problem is, do people go to the combine anymore? The big names.
some of them do.
No.
Yeah, some do.
Some do.
Yeah, well, McAfee will be there because it's in Indianapolis.
Of
I would
course.
imagine.
Well,
And
He'll probably
ESPN is going to.
Well, it's always in Indianapolis, so.
Yeah, it's been in Indianapolis since.
By the way,
when,
I just
think?
want to mention one thing as well. Did you see the obsession when the final play was made and they went to the post show? ESPN did the handoff for the 365 days of Super Bowl coverage.
Well, they're excited and they should be.
Come on.
Is there?
I do love how in the advertising they've been doing the inverse where they watch the bit of I'm going to Disney World and now and then you saw the Toy Story cast say wish we could go to the Super Bowl.
They're talking about trying to find a way possible to have McAfee do a field pass for the game for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they want to do it. That'd be really interesting.
If they, well, that's like an alternative cast, just live on the field, right?
Yeah, it's like what he does for the college football playoff.
He's lucky he didn't get hit where he was standing, to be honest.
Damn.
They're also talking about potentially doing some sort of alt cast like they've tried with Monday Night Football with some sort of Disney property.
They're going to use every ESPN property they
like
possibly
they're
can.
thinking Star Wars
question.
or The Simpsons.
Oh,
And they should.
my God.
And they should because you know what I mean. This is their first Super Bowl. It's a big reason. But when they got Buck and Aikman, you knew that this was gonna this is where it was gonna lead.
And
to.
they literally
go
hired
out,
a producer where his only job for the next year and beyond is to only think about how the Super Bowl is
I
going to
saw
look
that.
in 1 year.
Yeah.
That's his
I don't
only,
know if that really counts as a job doing this for a whole year, but
he'll have a lot of fun with it, I think. So
And then just a couple of quick other big important days in the offseason calendar. The new league year is March 11th. That's when at 4 p.m. Eastern. That's when free agency deals and trades can be official.
Yep.
So that'll be the.
And then
new,
the 3 days before you
new
have the
year.
tampering period.
Correct. And then
such a stupid timing. Tampering.
Yeah.
The draft
It is.
happening in Pittsburgh this year from April 23rd to the 25th. May 1st is the deadline for teams to pick up their fifth-year option for the 2021 draft class, which we've already heard some teams already say they're going to do that. And then it's usually about the second week. I believe it's the second Thursday in May. It's not official yet, but that's when the schedule for next year does.
This year, that would be May 14th.
Yes. That's a big week for me down here in South Carolina. And then May and June, we have OTAs and mandatory mini camps. July 15th is the deadline to sign franchise tag players to multi-year deal. And then mid to late July, training camps open. And then we start getting ready for the 2026 season. So real quick, a couple of things I want to focus on as we talk about the offseason in terms of storylines. So there's a couple of things that I think about right away when I think of this. There's going to be a bunch of quarterbacks that are going to be out there, I would imagine. And we know how many new head coaches there are. We have 10 we have 10 teams with a new head coach going into next season. There's going to be a bunch of quarterback moves, though. Like you would have
I'll give you a couple names.
Well, I would think Kyler Murray. I would think Tua Tagovailoa is going to both probably be on different teams.
Johnny, by the way, not just 10 new head coaches, 21 teams, I think, have a new coordinator.
And the OCs and the DCs, yes. And that's a thing, too, I didn't even mention back in the start of the show. Clint Kubiak leaving to become the Raider head coach. How does that affect the Seahawks next year?
A lot.
A lot of the reason how teams repeat as champions is they keep their coordinators and most of their role players or stars. Kenneth Walker's a restricted free agent. So, I mean,
it makes me question, though, like some of these guys who move, like Robert Saleh, defensively, leaving the Niners to take a Titans job. Kubiak going to the Raiders. You're picking two of the worst teams in the NFL. I get it. I know what some people are going to say. Oh, it's a head coaching job. Is it really that much of a desperation?
Well, I was going to say the Raiders are going to need a lot more than just Mendoza and Kubiak.
I was going to say
something across the board.
It might take his whole contract just to get the team turned around. Same thing with Saleh. Saleh should have stayed with the 49ers.
I agree. I think what happened there with Saleh was first of all, with the Titans, every top guy on their list went to other teams before the Titans could hire them.
Well, now you have two New York head coaches down in Tennessee also.
And then second of all, I think that Saleh was just like, oh, I want to be a head coach again, so I'm going to just take the job that someone offers me.
Well, I'll give you an example, and Ben, I think you know what name I'm going to say, who had a bad experience almost becoming a head coach. Josh McDaniels has proven the model of that.
No, not once, twice.
But I'm saying he learned that he's a better offensive coordinator.
They've asked him about going back to head coaching, and he's like, I just like being here and maybe down the road, but I think he realizes that.
I'm gonna give Josh McDaniels some advice. Don't do it.
Just stay where you are.
Well,
he's earned a lot of rings that way, being an offensive coordinator.
And you got a franchise quarterback that's up and coming.
Well, and speaking of the Raiders, I think another big storyline on the player side we got to talk about is Max Crosby.
Oh yeah,
he's pissed off.
He's angry.
But you know what though?
You are a New England Patriot.
But you know what though? I think he should. I think this is a blessing in disguise if he's going to be able to get out of Vegas. Now I know he's one of those guys. Oh, I'm a career guy. I don't believe that for a second. By the way, I think.
Oh yeah.
No, I was just going to say. I think that
Christy has her cowboy helmet.
Well, I was going to toss to her.
I would like for that to happen.
Well, Christy, what happens with George Pickens?
Franchise tag.
Yeah, but I also heard for Pickens too, it might be a tag and trade, possibly.
Maybe.
No, I think it's going to be a holdout. Is what I think is going to happen.
Probably going to be a holdout because I don't.
Tag and holdout.
Tag and holdout is pretty much what it's going to be.
Almost like what happened with Lamar up in there in Baltimore.
But the difference is though, Pickens is not CeeDee Lamb. I think CeeDee Lamb,
not.
like CeeDee Lamb held out. Well, he didn't have a good year, but basically CeeDee. Yeah, but CeeDee Lamb is obviously a better wide receiver. He had every right to hold out because he was due whatever value he was going to make. George Pickens is a great receiver, but he's not CeeDee Lamb. He's just not.
He's not this guy.
Those will be two names on the offense and defensive side that we'll be talking about. But as far as the quarterbacks go, I gave you two guys in Kyler Murray and Tua Tagovailoa. I'm going to give you two more to watch here in the offseason. Malik Willis.
Mm-hmm.
I think somebody's going to give him a lot of money. And
I can tell you who that
like
is.
Malik Willis. I don't think he's a starting quarterback unless you want to make him a transition guy for a year.
I'd keep him in Green Bay.
Yeah.
You know what? I have a guy who's a big Packers fan that I hang out with every Sunday at my bar. He loves Malik Willis, but he thinks he's going to get a lot of money somewhere else.
Oh, I think he will. But if the Packers were smart, maybe you do a Kyle Orton situation like you did in Dallas, and maybe you pay him $10 million a year to be a backup.
I could tell you destinations for two quarterbacks.
Okay.
You want me to?
Yeah, go ahead real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the two quarterbacks that I'm going to say are Malik Willis and Kyler Murray.
Mm-hmm.
Malik Willis is going to go to the Dolphins.
I like that. Yep.
Huh.
Kyler Murray,
It feels
as
like
much as this is going to destroy his career, is going to go to the Jets.
No, no.
Why
Don't-
would you? Come on.
Don't
wish
wish
on
that
me.
into
Just
existence,
don't.
please.
Please don't.
But he's-
Please.
But
Please.
it's kind of better than what they have though right now, right? Or is that not saying much?
That's not saying much.
Well, see, if you're going to do that, I almost would take a flyer on Malik Willis and have him as my transition guy for a year or two.
I'd rather have Malik Willis than Kyler Murray.
Well,
That
Nick,
makes sense.
Nick,
Grant-
would you just be more happy if Derek Carr comes out of retirement and he's
Oh God.
Please don't make no.
No, Nick,
No.
No, listen,
Uh-uh.
Nick wanted Derek Carr, but that was Football Friday 4 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was 4
It's
years ago. When,
2026. It's
That
not
opinion-
2022 when I first joined the
Run it
network.
back!
So,
Right.
Wait,
you know,
but you know what?
back-
Woody Johnson is gonna figure it out. He's gonna have his family look at the Madden game to figure out what.
one of
That
the
I think is a perfect bookend to this truth.
Hey, Woody.
God damn.
Woody, why don't you actually make a sound decision, not trust your kids to make the decision for you?
Because they're proven to be unreliable.
and one more quarterback to watch also, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
Very
I don't
true.
know. Does he keep playing or does he retire? That's the big question.
Well,
right now.
Christy, nice transition because I have one more thing and then we'll get out of here. Two players
okay.
to make it that we have to watch on retirement watch this offseason.
Mhm. Yes.
Travis Kelce and Aaron Rodgers.
He's not.
I
Aaron's
think
not
Rodgers,
retiring.
No, I'd make-
Rodgers because of Mike McCarthy
Yeah.
will play one more year,
He's
I
going
think
back to
so,
Pittsburgh.
Well, I think Travis
Hey,
Kelce's
I
probably gonna.
agree.
Oh,
but it's going to happen.
right.
I think Kelsey's going to have a retirement tour.
He
I
probably
think-
is because Eric Bellamy is back as the Chiefs
Mahomes is
offensive
gonna
coordinator, and he thrived under
Bellamy.
Bellamy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eric Bieniemy's back.
The enemy's
now-
back.
The one thing I will say about Kelsey is he might not be ready for the beginning of the season. I think if they are in contention, maybe he comes back halfway through the season and maybe plays then.
You mean Patrick Mahomes?
No, I'm talking about Kelsey because they were saying
Okay.
because Kelsey is not healthy. You could just tell he doesn't. I think he's going to take some time, contemplate if he wants to play, and if they're
Yeah, Taylor's
competitive,
still
he'll
around
come back.
before he gets back in the field, too.
No,
Actually, that is a story to look out for. Is Patrick Mahomes' recovery as well?
Yeah.
He's not going to be ready for the beginning of the season.
No, I
he's
don't
not.
think. I don't think
No.
so either. And I think Kelsey's
Well-
going to do all that plus get married on top
If
of all of it.
if he does come back, it might take him a month to get himself back to what he was
Yeah.
like before that injury.
That's
So,
why I'm saying if Kelsey sees that Mahomes is not back, maybe he waits to see if Mahomes comes back, and if they're competitive, maybe he comes back for the stretch run.
You know,
Who knows?
Johnny, I think, is there one guy I could just name really quick before we wrap it up as well?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think this one guy a lot of people really aren't talking about, but it wouldn't shock me if this guy goes, that's Trey Hendrickson, defensive end. He's a free agent this offseason, and I just don't know if the Bengals they don't like to pay defensive players.
That sucks.
I wish he stays there, but I could definitely see a team over breaking the bank for him.
Where do you think is a possibility?
I think the Pats are a really viable possibility. I really think there's a couple other teams, Tampa Bay maybe. The Tampa likes to run defense.
Mhm.
I think the Bears are a real possibility.
Brian Flores
And Mike-
going
I'm not digging into my Bears bias there. Dennis Allen drafted Trey Hendrickson.
Mm.
So
Yeah, that's a
may
good point.
play
And
a
another-
factor.
That's a good point.
And a guy on the receiving side too, since you just brought up the Bucks, Ben, is Mike Evans.
Mike Evans. Yeah.
I think he's going
Yeah,
back.
what happens with him?
By the way-
he shouldn't go anywhere else.
There is some interesting news that might affect the NFL draft. By the way,
Ooh. Uh-oh.
it just came out about 15 minutes ago. Trinidad Chambliss will be allowed to play for Ole Miss next season.
Let's go.
Damn
Yes.
it. Oh.
That's been going back and forth for
That's
a
gonna be
while
interesting.
now.
The judge
Yeah.
just officially ruled that
He
he's
did
allowed
just-
to
Draft
play.
class is getting weaker by the moment.
He'll be my favorite college quarterback next year. Call it.
Well, there's a bunch of those going to be coming out at the end of next year, but that'll put a
Damn.
wrap on this edition of the Football Forecast and a wrap on the 25 season of the forecast.
I just want to say one thing because we're not revealing everything. There's one thing I can reveal because we've already confirmed that we're working on it. So I'm going to show this to everybody. So this is our first rendition that's going to be added to the football season next year. Football night on the bench. Yes, it looks like football night in America. Yes, blah, blah, blah. Got it.
Mhm.
So we were doing Thursday night forecast last year because, Thursday night is not part of our normal forecast show because it doesn't work out with the scheduling. So we are going to be doing football night on the bench. It's going to be an hour pregame show. Right now we have Thursdays confirmed. We are working on Sundays to confirm that as well. We are going to do hour-long pre-shows. So look out for that. And then Johnny and I are working on some other stuff to kind of improve this show for forecast.
Yeah, I won't give a lot away because we're still in the early stages of it. I will tell you though that this show will be a live show again starting in September. So week one next year will be a live show. I think we'll do our previews and I think those will tape.
Those will be taped.
Those will be taped.
Yeah.
But when we come back week one in 7 months, that will be a live show, and we're shooting for another Friday at 6:00 start because that seems to be the time slot that works for everybody, including myself.
Yeah, this show's going to be 100% live. That's the goal next year to really build on that.
And even
really
though
quickly,
we didn't hit,
I just want to ask you guys really quickly. What's your prediction, really quick, for opening night next year? Just if you just had to make
I got it.
Seahawks,
got mine.
Rams.
No, I got it. I'll be honest with you. Seahawks, Bears.
I
That's
think
it.
so too.
Absolutely, I absolutely see Seahawks and Bears
that would
right
be
now.
fire. That would
I
be
think so too.
I think how the Bears played last year. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it makes a lot of sense.
That would be interesting to say the least.
Would be.
And
I
then-
would.
oh, good.
I was gonna say I'll agree on that. The one thing that I could see
Rams, Seahawks.
potentially. Well, I
That's
don't
what
know.
I
It
said.
depends. What are they going to do with this Australia game?
Well, they
That
already
was-
announced it. It's 49ers Rams.
No,
I
but
Yeah.
like, when are they going to do it?
I think they're shooting for that to be a week one game.
So
That's probably
then
it.
let me throw the thing that I said on the Sunday game or whatever on the post show.
Yeah.
Seahawks Cardinals move it up to 7:00. Then 10:00 do the other two NFC West teams, 49ers Rams.
That'd be
Oh.
awesome.
Then that's
That'd be really
Australia time.
ideal.
Australia time. That's 1 or 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah,
That's
the
not
time
bad.
zone changes a lot from Australia
Yeah.
to here. But
Yeah.
The international date line is a what?
Have
All
the
right.
NFC West take over opening night.
We'll see.
that would be interesting. We'll see. There's
That'd
going to be
be
a lot of.
nice.
We'll talk about the international games in the off season because there's going to be a
Yeah.
lot. But one last programming note also. Join Callum McClurg for Olympics from the bench, 1:30 a.m. Eastern time. Yes, I know it's late. It's West Coast time.
Of course.
He's been doing a pop-up Olympics show, so go check that out as well. Anything else that we have coming up? But yeah, this is the official end
Baseball
of the
tomorrow.
NFL season. So
Oh,
hopefully everybody enjoyed the show. Hopefully everyone out there, even with X being a pain in the ass right now, which I'm dealing with. But we had a good time. The show's coming back next year. Don't worry. Everyone will be back. Like we said, we have football night at the bench. We have some other stuff up our sleeve we're going to be doing next season. So just make sure you tune in. Make sure you subscribe. YouTube.com/ETB Network. Make sure
By
you
the way,
follow-
Nick, congratulations on winning the playoff portion of this with the most points out of all of us.
Hey!
Finally.
We got
Do I
it. Nobody
Do I
saw.
get somewhat credit because I got the MVP and one team's final score?
Yes, you were the only one that got it completely right.
But
Yeah.
I don't take any extra credit for that. Nick got the Nick takes the cake on that. But yeah, YouTube.com/ETB Network and have your notifications set as well so you know when all of our programming is going to be coming out. And of course, TFB Forecast ETB is where we'll have more information on there as well. And of course, if you can't watch any of our shows on the video side, if you are on the go like I am a lot, you can listen to not only this show, but all of our shows wherever you get your favorite podcast. So I do want to say, guys, thank you for a wonderful season. It's been great the last, 6 months or so working with you all. And at least for this show, I mean, obviously outside of the show, I see you all the time too. But hey, you know what? It's already the middle of February, and I'll tell you what, before you know it, we're going to be this year's going to be a blur. I can already tell you right now. This month usually drags. We're already in the middle of February, so enjoy it all.
And by the way, next year is Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Yes. Everyone out here, little PSA for all the for that date. Either celebrate Valentine's Day on a Saturday or take your wife, girlfriend, or whatever. Well, make sure that your girlfriend would be okay with this, but if she's okay with it, take her to a bar.
Yeah, you heard it.
Or Buffalo Wild Wings.
That means next year the Monday is President's Day. We
Legal
actually are going to get Super Monday.
Legal holiday. Thank you. Thank you, NFL world. Thank you.
That means I would gladly work the next day and get paid double for it. Thank you very much. So, for everybody here on the ETB Network, I'm Johnny Montalbano. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in all season, and we'll catch you all again next season. Good night, everybody.
See you, everybody.
Bye.